friends, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely. All right, we got some different topics today. We got some things we've been up to, some things we're gonna be doing, some stuff we can't talk about but we want to. We're gonna get into a bunch of stuff. But first, Brent, what you been up to last couple weeks?
Oh, it's been cold the last couple of weeks, and we had a real nice snowfall, and so it was finally time to take my precious samples of paint and put them out in the snowbank and freeze them up good and solid and take them back inside and warm them up and see if they still worked. So I've got some preliminary results to share with you all here.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be a big deal, is the answer. It can definitely be a big deal.
Yeah. What were you expecting going in? Like, were you expecting it to maybe be an issue, or were you thinking it was like kind of more even across the board? It's going to take some time to actually get some results?
I wasn't sure. I was basically hoping that at least one bottle would start to show something, so that so that at least could be like, okay, this isn't a completely crazy conspiracy theory that I've heard. Like, yes, it is possible for paint to degrade if you leave it out and let it freeze solid and thaw it back out. And it makes sense. I've Googled this on the internet, and people who paint houses have the same thing. Like, if they leave buckets of paint out and let it literally freeze solid, that's bad. That's not good for the paint.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It makes sense.
Yeah, weirdly, but yeah.
Yeah. Paint is this mixture or suspension of solvent, polymer binder, pigments, some other stuff, and getting all of that stuff to be in a single fluid, like all suspended and working well with each other, it's actually a pretty big technological accomplishment. And the act of mixing all those ingredients together, there's a certain order you got to do that in at the right speed, at the right temperature and everything. And yeah, once you put paint down and the solvent goes away, it normally stays there. Normally paint doesn't reactivate,
Yeah.
But yeah, when you start to mess with that perfectly crafted suspension by freezing it and changing the way that all those molecules are interacting with each other, not good. Snuffles, for the love of God.
It's so loud. I just hear scraping. I'm like, keep it together. Good kitty.
Using the scratch and post, and he can't be too mad about that, but not now.
No, that's fine.
Not now. Okay.
Yeah, not now though.
Yeah.
Not now.
You should be sitting right here on the desk and staring at the camera the way you normally do, Cat. Come on. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I went through my collection and I grabbed mostly like duplicates of stuff I had, but I got some samples from a bunch of different brands. And I will throw this pen at yours. It wasn't actually at the cat, it was nearby to just scare him a little bit.
Near the cat, of course, yeah.
Kind of break the concentration, get him to think about something else.
Yeah.
Humans can maybe hold 7 things in our minds at once. Cats, like 2, 3. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I really wanted one of the paints to fail. And boy, I got a good one.
You got a good one.
I got a real good one. The colossal failure.
Yeah.
So this is from War Paints Fanatic, the new paints from, or year-old paints from Army Painter.
Yeah.
Green Skin. This bottle of paint I'd used a fair bit of. It worked perfectly well, perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Froze it once, took it inside, thawed it out. By the time it was room temperature, It was a room temperature solid. Like if you shook the paint,
Wow, yeah.
neither of those two steel mixing balls were going anywhere. They were locked in place. They were not clanking against anything on the inside of that pot.
Wow.
And I ended up cutting open the bottle of paint, and yeah, it's all just a pretty dry solid. There's a little bit of moisture in there, but it's a room temperature crumbly solid matrix that will turn your hand green if you touch it, but it ain't paint.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It ain't paint.
That makes sense.
It ain't paint. Yeah.
That's crazy. And that's after, I mean, one time, right?
Probably. So for
to
running this,
as much as you know, yeah.
Yeah, for running this test, I don't know the history of it from when it left the factory to transport it around the world to my house to how long it sat on my porch. Who's to say?
Yeah. Well, and a year ago, so winter
would have been winter
time.
Would have been winter.
Yeah.
Would have been winter here.
So
would have been
knows?
winter in Denmark. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to run this was just to see if it was a real thing that people were talking about, and also to see what it could look like. And I've started to see what I've heard people talk about of like the kind of cottage cheese effect of there just being,
for sure.
It's still paint, but there's like clumps in the paint.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a few to do that. Now, interestingly, it does seem to be the war paints fanatic that are failing the hardest. And interesting to me, the new Vallejo game color are not freezing solid. Like even at like 0 Fahrenheit, they're still fluid inside that bottle. You can still squeeze very cold paint, but you can still squeeze paint. It's starting to move a little bit slow too, a little bit stiff and sluggish, but you can still squeeze paint out of those Vallejo game color bottles even when they're very cold. So different solvent.
It'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to know, what was actually in these paint bottles. It'd be great if they just said,
To be fair, that probably gets into decently complicated, like the exact mixtures of.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. That experiment so far has been fun. We're gonna keep on going and do a few more freeze thaw cycles, see if we can get something else to mess up. But I was glad that we had a nice snowfall so that I could get the stupid internet pictures of me going outside and planting paint pots in the snowbank. Yeah.
You didn't lose any, did you? Like,
No.
They got covered up. Gonna have to wait till spring for those.
That'd be pretty funny. I thought I had 12. Like,
yeah, exactly. I've done that with beer before. Like, oh man, genius idea. I'm gonna throw these out in the snow, and then you're like, we're missing one. It's not here, and then you find it. Later on, it starts melting. It's poking out. And you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. Still good? No.
Depends on
if it
if the
went
cap's
solid.
a little rusty. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to say. I don't know. Oh man. Well, that's pretty cool. You've been getting some snow. I haven't gotten any snow, man. Like, we haven't gotten anything.
Yeah, we got one good snowfall, really. One good one.
Yeah, it's been a weird year. Obviously, everything over here is pretty much on fire. So
Sorry to hear that. Huh?
Yeah. But that's part of it. Like, no, we haven't gotten anything. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the countryside is on fire, your paint isn't gonna freeze on the doorstep, probably. So there's
Probably.
that. Yeah.
There is that. Yeah.
Win some, lose some. Take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And there's probably someone listening in Australia right now who's never sees snow, and they don't care about us and our freezing paint problems. But it's important to us. It's important to me.
Can't you go skiing in Australia?
I don't know.
Want to say. want to say.
Parts, maybe.
In like one place. Yeah. On like one hill, you know?
Please leave comments in the comment section if you've ever skied in Australia.
I'm just saying, people might be a thing. Or sand skiing. That's a thing. I don't know.
Look into that.
Yeah, probably less of an issue anyways. I mean, I've left paints in my car before, like, because I used to take paints to work. Me and editor Matt, actually. We would take paints and models to work, and on our breaks and stuff, we'd paint Warhammers. And I didn't have any issues with any freezing paint, though. I mean, it did get cold for sure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
So I think it has to get decently below the actual freezing point for paint to start to get slushy and freeze up. You know, when you put an impurity into anything, and that depresses the melting point. So, I mean, that's like why you throw salt on ice and then the ice melts. It is depressing lowering the melting point of the ice. But so like just taking it to 0 degrees Celsius, I don't think would do anything to paint. Like, I think it has to be a good deal below that. But
right, yeah,
and for long enough to actually, you know, suck all the heat out and and freeze it up. But yeah, that's probably like the worst thing you can do is just leave your paint collection in a car in a cold place
in the middle of winter. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I've definitely gotten some paints, like ordering them off of Amazon or wherever, and they show up and it's freezing cold outside. And I have clumpy paints that they still work. You know, you can get a kind of decent glob in there. But yeah, that makes some sense. So it's good to know.
It is good to know. Learn something new every day. All right, what's new with you, Casey? What do you got going on?
I don't know.
Can you talk about it?
Things some of it I can. Some of it I can't.
Won't.
I won't. Exactly. I won't. So I got a gift card for eBay this Christmas, which was pretty awesome. And I decided to go on to eBay as a do, the other day, and I was looking for something pretty fancy to paint. And I found this nice, like, slightly less expensive, I guess, squad of 10 second edition Space Marine, Space Wolf, Blood Claws. Yeah, that's what they are, Blood Claws. Like, really cool metal models with some really cool, like, big claw fist things that they got. And I got essentially a complete collection, except I noticed after I bought them that some of them aren't actually the models that came in the box. They're like duplicates of models that came in the box. So I am missing 3 actual
couple of poses
models in the set. Yeah, basically a couple of poses, and specifically the beaky helmeted variants, which are the best ones. And of course, those are the ones that I didn't even realize when I was buying it, because they were jacked up. Like, they didn't look very good. A lot of the parts were broken, like just bent off. So it was a little less expensive. And I got them, and man, like, it's been good, but it's taken me quite a bit longer than I was expecting to, like, get them to a place where they actually look pretty decent. Obviously, they're all on, like, old bases from, like, 1992. It says that on the bottom, too, which is pretty great. I mean, it's a copyright year, but it's about when second edition was anyways. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been a lot of work, and it just got me thinking. It's like the amount of effort that goes into some of this stuff for a 10, 15-minute video is kind of insane. Like, I'm trying to push myself to finish the video, to get it done on, like, an arbitrary timeline that I've just made up mostly. And I don't know why I'm doing that to myself, but it's at least been a good project so far.
I mean, video or not, that sounds like that would take a while to to fully restore.
Yeah.
Especially if you're dealing with broken metal that's sighting down a bent piece of metal and try to get it straight. Very frustrating sometimes. Yeah, if you got a bent power sword that's got not, just kind of like a little wave to it, you're like, woo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it is. And luckily there isn't a ton of like metal damage on these. Because part of the kits are plastic. I think it was kind of the first iteration of plastic that they did, that where the models weren't fully metal. They're not single piece models, which I was a little disappointed by. I actually thought they were fully metal, and they're not, which is kind of a bummer because like having to deal with plastic and metal together, you got weird glue issues and can't use the plastic glue. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of issues with them. I'm pretty happy about it overall. Like I think they're looking pretty good. But I am missing a few pieces, so I'm not sure what to do at this point. Like I've invested a lot of time and I want to make a video, but it's like the sunk cost thing.
You have extra marine pieces. Only you would know. Only you would know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean I would know. I did go through a bunch of Marines and I'm like, some of the painted ones that I have, I'm like, that's the same hand and the same gun. Like I could just.
Oh no.
Like already finished painted models. I didn't do that because I just felt too bad. One of them I did end up replacing like a whole hand from something I think was 3rd edition. So it's like, it's not quite the same. So it's, it's fine.
Well, that's one of the frustrating things about rescuing models and shopping on eBay is that you are going to get some things where something is missing or one thing is not right, or the person you bought from switched out all of the backpacks for the wrong backpack or something. And so, you're always got to deal with that like OCD of there's something not right here. And so part of the art that you're pretty good at is just, all right, we're going to slap something on here, call it good. And yeah, look at that. It looks pretty good. Like you get
yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
That's what you need, buddy.
Yeah. I think it's like a lack of knowledge around that like era of models.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I know, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, man, this is sweet. Like I'm gonna spend money on this because I didn't get like the best deal. I had a gift card, so I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna get something nice, And I'm looking at it like this has all the perfect things, wrong with it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it, and even when I assembled all of them, one of the like hands was just missing. Like it was just one of them didn't have a hand. It was like, okay.
Oh no.
That's great. Yeah. It's like somehow I like miscounted and didn't realize that 3 of these models aren't even from the original kit kind of thing. But I wasn't there. Like I didn't buy it brand new when it came out. So I don't have that just internal deep knowledge of some of these older kits. But yeah, replacing it with some interesting parts and getting it done. It's just taken more than I was expecting. I'm not even halfway done painting at this point, and so I gotta spend a bunch more time trying to get them to look pretty nice. I printed out some base toppers because I like a good base topper. And I painted all the base toppers. Like I did the whole thing and put them on bases. I got little grass tufts and all these things, and I made them real nice. And I'm like super happy with how they came out, and now I don't really want to put anything on top of them because they look too good. Like they're all nice on their own. They don't need
a model. Yeah, okay.
No, like they're too good. I'm almost like these are really cool. I'm just gonna set these aside.
You can print some more base toppers out for yourself. Yeah, keep those ones out as their own special set.
I don't know. I think it's because like during the project I was painting and I felt like satisfied with the amount of work I had put in, and like on just the basis, and I'm like, yeah, I feel accomplished. I should be done with this project now. But it's like, no. No.
We spend a lot of time on this hobby. We do.
Yeah. It's a little much, actually.
Yeah. So,
oh man,
we can talk about one of the things that we can't quite talk about yet.
That okay? Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
All right, give it a stab. see if we're on the same page.
We're going to Adepticon.
Uh-huh.
And we got a booth.
Yep.
Is that what you're going to talk about? I don't think that's what you're going to talk about.
I was going to talk about a different thing, but we could do that. Yeah, we're going to be at Adepticon. We're going to be at the Trenchworks booth. Take a look for us. You go to Adepticon, you see that Trenchworks booth, you see Brent and Casey sitting there under a big old sign that says Goblin Hobbies. You come on over and say hi.
Yeah, you definitely do that.
Yeah.
You definitely should do that if you're going to Adepticon this year. Yeah, we've been working pretty hard. We got a lot of cool stuff to show people. I can't even begin to explain how excited I am for what is to come that we still just can't talk about. I feel like we've been teasing this for months and months. But it's there. Like,
because we've been working on it for years and years.
It's been like a year and a half for real. It's been in fact, since the inception of the original thing that we decided to do, it's been almost 2 years.
Goblin Hobbies, a long story that soon you'll get to hear about. Soon.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna have a booth. We're gonna be in a booth with Trenchworks, and it's gonna be a real good time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is coming up so fast too. Like LVO just happened, and now it's like, oh, next month. It's all already going to be March. I mean, okay, when this is coming out, it's going to be like February in a couple days, but then it'll be March.
Then it'll be March.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
It's coming up sooner than it seems like it should be. But what were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to talk about the collaboration with Poor Hammer and the Kieran Show.
Nice.
Which we can't quite talk about yet, but...
Yeah.
So a few months ago, I went out to visit Casey in Reno, and we spent like 10 days working on an Imperial Guard army. And the two of us painted up a real nice army of guardsmen in blue. And that was part of a video collaboration with these other guys. And Casey and we knocked it out relatively quick. I mean, we counted the hours, and we put about 100 hours of labor into it over the course of 10 days or so. Yeah. But in terms of the calendar, we knocked that project out fast. And yeah. So the other two prongs of that collaboration were each making a Warhammer 40k army, a pair of dudes painting up 2,000 point plus army for Warhammer 40k. There's Chaos, one Imperial hands, something, Iron Hands, Iron Fists.
Something like, no, I'm pretty sure it's just Chaos Space Marines. They just painted it with the like.
They had caution stripes. Yeah. Lot of silver, a lot of caution stripes.
Definitely a Chaos Space Marine army.
Yeah.
And then what's the
Space Dwarfs?
Space Dwarfs, Squats.
Votan.
I literally can't remember. Yeah, Votan. Yeah. It's like Dwagholm. That's not. No, right
that's
at
not
all.
Quite right.
I've seriously had that. Like, I was about to say it. I obviously did say it, but yeah, the Votan. Yeah, some cool looking stuff for sure. And I am excited for that to be a thing. Like, we've had videos, or at least footage, like in the can for months at this point, right. Like just waiting.
And anyway, the reason we bring it up now is because we've gotten word that the other two prongs have finished their armies. So
yes,
it took a couple of months after, Casey and I finished our army, but they were more busy. They didn't just drop everything and kind of spend 10 days working on it.
yeah. I mean, when you look at it like that, like we didn't like go to work for 8 hours and then come home and go, okay, we're gonna put some time into this. It was like all day,
wake
for
up,
2 weeks, eat
toast, paint miniatures,
miniatures. Yes. Oh yeah.
But the interesting thing is people started reporting back on sort of how many hours they put into the project. And it seems like all three teams put in about 100 hours. Yeah. And that's some food for thought right there, of just these things take a certain amount of time. No matter what army you pick or what color scheme or what shortcuts you're trying to use, like this stuff just takes time. And and there's only so many shortcuts, and painting a whole big pile of models, still painting a whole big pile of models.
Yeah, it definitely feels like no matter what road you go down, no matter how many models or whatever it is, like a 2,000 point army, they're roughly the same size, in terms of model count. Obviously that can swing wildly one way or the other, but usually, things are about even. But it is interesting because it's not like we were shooting for like basic tabletop standard stuff, but we weren't shooting for like super high quality either. Like I think that the models that we painted look pretty good. Like they're not bad at all. And we definitely did some stuff that's like would be considered like getting around and going fast and doing techniques. But the fact that we all basically finished within the same amount of hours of work is really interesting. Like, is it just that no matter what you do, this is about what it is? Or is there something that we're all, like, we're used to a certain standard, and so we hit that standard, and it takes about 50 hours to get there, and then everything is just fine. We're good at that point.
A little bit of both, I think. A little bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, we've obviously seen some of their stuff, but not like in super high quality. We're talking phone pictures and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I definitely am curious to see when we stack everything up, like how everything looks together.
It's
and
not a competition.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it is, but at the same time, we did knock that out 2 months before everybody else, so feeling good about it. Yeah.
It'd be good to see all the high res images and see how things stack up and get those memories back of the stuff we painted. But
yeah, dude, I've forgotten everything at this point.
Yeah, we got to edit up those videos. I started looking through that folder of video files for that. Memories, but also just stuff I forgot, and many gigabits. I
don't even know.
Yeah.
It's the most I've ever filmed for any project.
Whoops.
Like there is no reason for that.
Whoops. Yeah. Our bad.
There's so many terabytes of footage. Not gigs.
Yeah, it is
terabytes.
Yeah.
It's like 2 terabytes. Oh man.
Yeah, the poor Hammer guys recruited us to be one of the trio, one of the competitors, and I definitely feel like I'm a little bit past my speed painting phase of YouTube.
Yeah,
a little bit past the 24-hour paint challenge, and part of that is just because like I now know how much I can paint in 24 hours, and it's not that impressive, actually. And I would rather get some sleep in and do that over 3 days.
It's amazing when you hit your mid-30s how much you're like, staying up all night, I'm just not going to do that.
That's part of
the thing I'm going to do.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I mean, I enjoy the challenge. Like, I enjoy the rising to the challenge, but then also, like, okay, I know how much I can paint if I completely deprive myself of sleep for 24 hours. I've answered this question now, and I would like to sleep instead.
I do think that it's something that you should do at least once, because it's not a bad thing. Like, because you do get the results out of that. You get to see where that limit is, I guess. Like, in one full 24-hour day, what can I get done?
This is not a medical this is not a medical recommendation. Don't have your estate sue us if you have a brain clot from staying up all night painting Skaven. Like, that's not our fault. It's not my fault. It's Casey's fault. He recommended it.
Look, I mean, if you want to blame me, that's fine. You can say I told you so.
Okay.
It's not going to hold up, is what I'm saying. It's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
In court.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Sure, he doesn't want to. We're like half an hour into this. The jury, no one wants to listen to this.
Exactly. Exhibit B. Yeah. No, it's the same idea of like putting in everything into like one model, right? Entering into a competition or otherwise, but putting in an extraordinary amount of effort into one model, and so you can actually see where your limits are in terms of where your skill is. And I've heard this before, but for a lot of things, like, people think that they're bad at things in general. You know, sometimes we feel like, hey, I'm not that great of a mini painter, you know, even though you've been doing it for a few years. And that's usually not the case with most things. It's usually that people just aren't patient enough to sit and refine and put in the time that's actually required to get the result that they think about in their head. Like, you're probably a lot better than you think you are. You could probably get a lot more done than you think you can. But we're not usually patient enough to try it. So doing something stupid like a 24-hour painting challenge, I think is at least worth looking into at least one time, if for no other reason, just to see.
All right.
Yeah.
No. But I think you and I, we've done those challenges. We know the answer, and we kind of got pulled out of retirement to paint that army on the timer, and we did it.
Yeah. By
golly, we did it. And so we'll get to talk more about that someday soon too. All these secrets coming out. It
is. There are, and it's weird because the types of videos that I've been making consistently, like, I don't want to say I'm not trying as hard as I have in the past to put out like decent content or anything. Like, I feel like I've gotten a good rhythm into things, and I'm trying to make something cool. But I am tailoring it to something more specific because there are other things going on in the background that we just can't talk about. And it's just a mind-blowing kind of a thing when we get there. It's all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Real close.
So on the day that we're recording, someone broke the seal on another little topic. I've got another thing that I wasn't able to talk about before, and I can't really talk about now, but a little bit.
a little bit enough that it's interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. This was funny. So a couple of years ago, did the really high quality battle report with Dave from Mini Wargaming, 1-page rules, sponsored by Monument Hobbies and filmed by Cinecore Media, who had all these fancy cameras and did like a documentary style battle report for 1-page rules. And that was a fun experience, and the video turned out decent. I think it was a learning experience. Yeah. It was good, but like, I think all of us felt that we had learned stuff in that in that process of trying to make a really high quality video of two people playing a game. And actually, one of the things that happened during that process is that the Cinecore film crew decided they wanted to make their own game, And so over the past couple of years, they've been rules testing a game that's come to be known as Zeme, Z-E-M-E.
Yes.
They're calling it Zeme Homecoming. And I got to play a demo last summer, and yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good. It's a hex-based skirmish kind of game, using a card draw system for the abilities that you can, have your troops use.
Nice.
And it works really quite well. And so they are planning on essentially making a high quality battle reports or film of their own game. And so they invited me to be one of the people playing in the game. And for the second person, they reached out and they were able to sign a contract with Casper Van Dien, the lead actor from the hit film Starship Troopers.
Yes. The
Starship
cinematic
Troopers
masterpiece
3.
that is Starship Troopers.
Yeah. So they just spilled the beans today that in a few months we're gonna film another one of those high quality battle reports. Me and Casper are gonna be facing off playing Zeme, and that will be interesting. A real life movie star, Casey. Real life movie star.
I know, it's kind of insane, dude. Like, I mean, I got a lot of good memories of old Casper Van Dien, Yeah.
I liked Ace, the Busey boy. Yeah.
The Busey, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was good. Oh man.
But yep, had kind of the first meeting to start to set up that up, and it was cool talking to Casper, and he's clearly not tired yet of being the Starship Troopers guy, and
that's awesome.
Not tired of all those jokes and quotes and everything. So buckle up. Yeah. I don't think buckle up.
I mean, that's pretty good for, I don't know. It's I'm sure there's a line in there somewhere that I don't remember. You want to live forever. There you go.
You got it.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I don't know. That was a pretty big deal when that came out, at least for me. I don't know how it was received. I think for the most part, people like that movie. But for me, like, I do have a specific memory around Starship Troopers, and like it was coming out, it was a big deal, and my birthday was coming up, and I wanted to go see it. And it's like that movie's rated R, obviously. And I was like maybe 12 or 13 or something. Yeah. So for some reason or another, and I don't know why, my parents let me and a group of my friends go and see that movie for my birthday, and it was awesome. It was so good. Yeah.
Well done.
Big good memory about that specific movie. So yeah. No, I think it's great. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And it'll be cool to see, you playing a cool game and hanging out with old Casper Van Dien there.
Right on. Yeah. So
yeah.
We got all these things in motion, Sometimes we're giving our weekly updates to the listeners here, and we're just pretending like nothing big's going on, but we got stuff.
That's 100% what's true. We've been lying to you this whole time.
We're lying to you this whole time.
Like, we're just like, I don't know. It's been a slow week, and it's like, I've been working so hard.
I want to tell you all this cool stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Tell you all these
that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right, what else we got? Are you gonna do it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
You gonna do it?
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple things. I got a couple good things. So I bought some sweet movement trays recently. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've been trying to figure out a good time to do it. But I talked about in my last video. I painted this Wood Elf King. It's a big metal chunky model, and I ended up putting him on a round base with the idea that I was going to get a converter and put it on a square base so I could use it in multiple game systems. And I don't know, I'm just impressed, I guess. Like the idea that you can have both, I think has been something that people have wanted for a long time, and there hasn't really been a great answer. And obviously, things like 3D printing, we can do those things. That's not really a big deal. I also found out that Mini Wargaming is just making all of these things now. Like they have a print farm up and running. It's like I knew they were doing some of it, but I didn't know it was already like a thing. So I ordered a bunch of stuff from them, and it got here pretty quick, and I'm pretty happy about it. I've never had movement trays like for round based models. Obviously, you get your big movement trays for the square stuff. But having them for the rounds is pretty sweet. I'm actually excited to use them in a game, because it's kind of a pain to have to be like, okay, I'm going to move this guy, and then I'm going to move the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And especially if you're getting into like a big horde situation, it starts to get a little out of hand and kind of annoying to the point where you're just like, I don't really want to do that because it sucks.
Do you have the ones that have like a clump of 5 together? The 5 round bases together?
Yeah. So I've got a clump of 5 kind. I've got like a big clump of 3 kind, because there's a bunch of, especially in Spearhead, most of the Spearheads have like a single unit of 3 kind of brute models, and that's in pretty much all of them. I think some of them are a little different. They might be on like ovals, but a lot of them are on rounds too. So, looking into that. I also got a couple of like, 20 person little 25 millimeter types. So, I'm just kind of looking into it now, but I was pretty excited to get them, and they have some cool stuff in them. The square conversion base too has the exact hole for a little magnet too. So you could put your magnet in there, get it glued down, and have your magnetic mini in there too. So I thought that was pretty neat. I haven't gone and decorated the like little outer edges of the base yet, but I'm kind of excited to do that, because that's one of those things that I missed out on for like Warhammer Fantasy in the movement trays. You put all the models in, and like the little square base on the rim has like little grass tufts and plants and stuff sticking out. I just always thought that was so cool, and I've never really got to do that. So
it's a bit of a challenge. You got to make sure to line up the circle perfectly so that it matches, with the 4 corners of the square. Yeah.
Well,
you can do
specifically, I mean, I think I can. I probably can. I built the model up on like kind of a little hill, because there's really no like line of sight issues for taller models in Age of Sigmar. It's just not really an issue. Like I think it is if they're flying or something. There's like certain cases like that, but generally not too bad. It's not like 40K, or if your head's poking out, you're just gonna get shot off. And actually I've had that happen, like building models up on a base, playing like Kill Team, and all of a sudden like, oh, well, I can see your models where normally you wouldn't have been able to see them, and I lost because of it. So little weird stuff like that, nitpicky stuff. But yeah, I built them up on like a little hill, so I'm hoping that it kind of slopes and makes sense going into the little corners. I think it'll work out, but I'm more excited about it than I think I should be.
Yeah, I was taking a look at those bases that you have there. They seem cool. Yeah. I knew that Mini Wargaming had a print farm going, and I'd seen a few of the things that they'd been working on, but I hadn't paid close attention to their bases and movement trays and stuff like that. Very nice.
Yeah. I think out of anything I've actually seen with a, like PLA 3D printers, filament printers, like this is probably the thing that might actually get me to finally get one, is to just make these, because like that's pretty cool. Like I wouldn't mind having every model on a movement tray, like all the squads on custom trays. This is now the thing for each army. Like it's that extra level of depth that you can get into, I guess.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the topic I was hoping you'd bring up, Casey.
Oh,
I'm glad you told us all
know.
about your movement trays for mini wargaming, but that's not.
I'm excited about.
That's not what the people crave.
No, the people crave Vevor news. So yeah, I did end up putting a like little kind of review usage thing into my last video, just as I normally would for any kind of like sponsored section. I did the same basic thing. And like I like the sonic cleaner, like it works, it shakes, it does the thing it's supposed to do.
Didn't burn the house down.
No, it's fine. Like it's fine. But I put it up and I emailed my contact and I was like, hey, you know, like, I'm sorry, this took longer than you were anticipating. Like sometimes these things happen. Obviously we discussed this prior, blah, blah, blah. But here you go. Here's the stuff. Like I hope that you like it and thank you. Like literally, I was just trying to be nice about it. And I got this email back. It was like, I can't believe how rude you are. Like if you didn't want to do the review or do any of the stuff, why'd you take it? And you're just a bad person. It was like, why didn't I do anything?
They got you, Casey.
I
they
don't
got
understand.
you.
I feel like I'm just being guilted of this whole thing, and it's like it's really annoying. I don't like it. I don't like it. I do appreciate all of the comments though that people left on that video. You know, I really do appreciate it. That might be why she was mad at me.
It's also silly. It's just also silly.
It is, which is the only reason why I didn't even want to talk about it, because it is like it's so dumb to me.
So
like,
if you made
doesn't make any sense.
You made the permanent switch over to Vevor, or are you gonna pull out your old box that shakes and doesn't burn down the building?
The funny thing is, right? Like it is nicer than my other sonic cleaner.
Ooh.
And I've been using my other sonic cleaner to clean 3D prints because I was like, oh, I will put resin in this one now and clean my prints. And it works real good, by the way.
Cool.
Like it works real good. And now I have this other one. And now I have this weird like conflict of, I basically told him like, don't ever talk to me again. I don't understand how you could think that I'm being rude here. And like I recapped the whole thing and I'm like, look, don't ever email me about Vevor again. I'm not going to do it. But now I'm like in a position where I'm going to be using it anyways. So it is what it is. And it's, again, not that they
Put
make bad products. I think this person is just, yeah, I've done that before too. Oh, yeah, I should do that. I'll just duct tape the whole thing. Would that hurt? It might get a little hot if I duct taped it. There are vents on the back. It should be fine. It's fine.
Just a sticker over the logo. Or
yeah.
Or like change a few letters. I don't know.
Vevor.
Beeger. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that we seem to be at a conclusion on the Vevor saga. You have told Vevor not to ever contact you again, and you have tried the shaking ultrasonic box, and it has not burned down your house. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's definitely doing the thing it's supposed to do. Yeah, and it does it just fine.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So that's it for Vevor for now. We'll see. What happens in the future.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I've got, Casey. Like I've just been busy working on all these secret things over here.
Putting stuff into snowbanks and talking all Casper Van Dien.
Yep.
So busy.
Yeah.
The only thing I got left is it's I guess it's somewhat hobby related. It's a hobby, right? Like we were talking about trading card games not that long ago. And I was saying how, like, you know, if I get into a trading card game, like I like to go in pretty hard. Like I like to get the play mats and the tokens and all the things, right? And you know, my kid's getting older and he was getting interested in Pokemon, so I kind of started going back into that, getting into that, and I bought the nice like giant double 2-person play mat with the acrylic, damage markers and effect markers and all these awesome things, right? I went real hard. And it sucks because now I'm trying to go get like cards to crack packs with the kid, because he's got to do the thing. He's got to do it. And like, of course, they're all sold out now because Pokemon cards have just exploded for no reason and are worth like way too much money these days. And so I don't know, I'm just in a weird position at this point.
Like, you've become the person that drives around to all the stores just looking for those new Pokemon cards. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Like, and I've been that person before, okay? Like for like Magic the Gathering, right? Like years ago. But driving around like, oh, there aren't any at this Walmart, and having to drive across town at 2 a.m., like to see if they got packs I could crack. It's not good. It's not good.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. Not a good place. No, don't do that. It's bad for you. Just buy them on the internet. Oh, I did see this post online not too long ago. That was somebody ordering Pokemon cards through like DoorDash from some store, and they're just like, I don't even have to go anywhere anymore. They just bring it to me.
Perfect use of DoorDash.
Not a terrible idea. For like $3 or something for that delivery fee. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, man, anymore it's like it's gotten a little out of hand. Like I don't know where anything is anymore. I don't know what anything looks like. Like the rarities are all new and different to me. It's a crazy place, man. Doesn't make any sense.
These games have been going for too long. There's too much. Yeah.
That might be what it is too. It's just too much. Like we need to like have a hard reset. To pull the old Age of Sigmar on them.
Or every Star Wars card game. Just, you're done now. This one's dead.
Yeah.
New one comes out next year.
Oh, speaking of which, I found the Star Wars cards. Like
in your car? The ones I bought
yes.
At Bill and Brad's and
I can't even remember, in Elko, Nevada.
So are you Bill or are you Brad? I'm Gary. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just try to help old Gary out over there.
Now what?
Buying some.
So you have your very own Red 7 and matching pilot or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. I'm into it. I'm gonna go get the playmat.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not too hobby related, but something I've been kind of, it's been on my mind, Yeah.
I played Magic the Gathering Commander 2 nights ago, and I didn't pay a dang thing. Well, I bought some decks a couple of years ago, but Yeah.
That's fine. That's such a moderately small investment for stuff. Yeah. I've purposely not gotten into Commander for that reason. It's that I'm not gonna. I will pay for it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's
I see.
What'll happen.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not good.
A lot of slippery hobby slopes around here.
Dude, there really is. Like it's not getting easier. I got kids.
Discipline.
They're hitting those. Yeah.
Focus. Concentrate.
Sometimes. I have some of those things. I know what those words are.
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time.